What's going on, everybody?
What's
How you guys doing
up?
today? What's up,
Happy
Alicia?
Sunday.
What's up, this Pen?
Hello.
What's up?
Coming to you guys
What's up, Chet?
again with the newest episode of the Sunday Sesh. We've actually got a really cool show for you guys today. Kind of interesting aspect on things, I would say, because it's like a husband and wife grow team. But
Absolutely.
it's kind of funny how like even though cannabis is kind of like a male-driven sport, we'll call it, there's awesome female growers out there. So I'm not trying to knock any female out there whatsoever. But it's kind of funny how like if you date a hustler, you date a weed grower, you date a whatever, you kind of become like the unvolunteered assistant.
You get the inside view. And then you know how to
Right.
protect it.
There you
That's so
go.
awesome. Yeah,
Oh.
my wife definitely helps me out with some stuff. You know what I mean?
Hey, we all need help sometimes, and women are nurturers. I mean, they can take care of kids and us. Hey, my woman takes care of me all the time. I'm a big ass baby sometimes.
Oh, I know. And then, like, at the same time, women like see things from like a different perspective than we do as like guys sometimes. So it'll be something that's like right there in front of our face, but we just won't necessarily pick it up. But like a woman's brain goes straight to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's always kind of interesting. Like I'll ask my wife all the time because I don't know if it's something that's like too personal or deals with like emotions or something like that. Like I'm just kind of like, oh, what happened? So she'll have to explain it to me. But before we get too deep into today's show, let's give our sponsors a really quick shout out.
Yeah, definitely. Real growers, shout out.
What's going on, guys? Cortez the Conqueror. Just want to take a really quick minute to give a shout out to the channel sponsor, Real Growers, bringing you guys products like Grow Dots and Recharge, stuff that I've personally used for years. And I really just want to get everybody to try it out there in the community so you can see what an easy grow system it is. I got a really exciting offer too, to where you guys can try it or even get that re-up on the stuff that you need. All you got to do is go over to www.realgrowers.com/Cortez. Or you can just go on the Real Growers website and type in coupon code Cortez at checkout. That's going to save you 10% and orders over $50. Enjoy free shipping within the continental United States. But if you guys want any more information on any of that, just shoot over to the website or DM me on Instagram. Thanks.
Yeah, I guess we'll just go ahead and get it out of the way now, guys. Grow Dots, Recharge. Yeah.
But hey, you're gonna go and buy it anyway, so you might as well save some money.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, especially if people don't got the Patreon, it's a way to save 10% plus orders over $50 get free shipping. So what's that going to be, like another $30? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
Definitely.
just an option. It's what I do personally. But
Shout out chat for being here. Thank y'all
Thank you.
again.
Thanks for
Yeah.
coming.
none of this would be possible without any of you guys. Like I do want to give a really big shout out to the entire community. We've been getting a lot of support too since we started the podcast. We've gotten a lot of support from the Dude Grows guys. We've gotten a lot of support from Homegrow in the community, and a lot of support too from like the Seed to Harvest podcast, who gracious enough to have on. And then Alicia, don't we have
Ruse coming next week? We got Ruse coming next week.
Oh boy.
It's a double header.
Coming at you.
Seed to Harvest 2 times.
Yeah, definitely.
Gonna have
shout out.
to run it back.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, let's bring on our guest. husband
Without
and
further
wife bro
ado,
team. Chris and Mo, here they are.
What's up, Sunday Sesh? Hey,
Hi.
how's it going?
How y'all doing?
Welcome.
It's interesting having someone else run all the ins and outs of the podcast, man.
All right.
That's nice just to be able to hang out.
Right. It's always the best setup when you can just show up, smoke weed, and talk shit.
Right? That's one of the reasons why I got into the podcast, because she said, quit talking to me about weed. You need to find someone else to talk to. Go make some friends. So I did in the community. All of you guys. Thanks, man.
Thank you for being his friend. Thank you so much for talking to him about cannabis.
Hey, Chris, to go find a friend.
Stop talking about weed.
Right?
Go play outside for a little while.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Stuff to
I
do.
don't know if it's just me, but once I fell in love with it, I mean, I think about it all the time. What can I change? What can I tweak? How can I get better product? How can I tell other people, hey, you need to fix something without making them cry? All that stuff. And she's like, go find some friends. So here we are.
Hell yeah.
Good suggestion, Mo.
Yeah. Well, so I didn't grow at all. I knew nothing about cannabis before he and I got together. I'd always wanted to try it because I have some injuries and I don't sleep. So I'd always wanted to try it, but I didn't know anybody who knew enough to make me comfortable to ask. So we started dating. He tried to be really sly and not let me know. But I have a nose and I have brain, so figured it out pretty quick. But he actually would like brush his teeth and do such a good job, like trying to hide it. He was very impressive for way longer than he should have been. So, and then I was like, oh, okay, now we can have some
talented Mr. Ripley over here.
Yeah. How do you hide that?
Right. And I was trying to hide cigarette smoke too, and that's even worse, So it just, I guess she liked me enough to put up with it for a few minutes, but it didn't last long at all.
Till she found out you were part werewolf. It's just around the moons. Around the moons. I get a little bit more fur behind the collar there.
So I've got a 100% legal medical grow here, and I went and got edibles that are stronger than the average thing, and we gave her some, and it was like the first time in many, many years that she actually slept through the night and got a good night's sleep. And she goes, oh, maybe you might know something. So then her sister started calling me her pharmacist or her drug dealer, and I'm like, oh my God.
But to be fair, he does a really good job most of the time. But when he doesn't, I suffer. So we had gone to stay in Glenwood Springs at the historical hotel that is haunted. And I tried a brand new edible that supposedly puts everyone else on the planet to sleep. And I was then awake for like 36 hours. Hearing the little walking and giggling and music playing at 4 a.m. and he's snoring and I'm bored. I learned that there are certain ingredients like CBN that does not work for me. And it has the opposite effect for me, which makes him suffer. So
yeah. Do you make your own edibles at all? Like, have you ever tried that?
We have a couple times. It's just a lot of work, and I have so much other stuff going on that
there's
if
ways
I don't
to make
have
it easier.
Well, right, but it's always the mystery dosing. I don't know where you guys are at, if they do home grow testing, but here in Colorado, they don't have any labs that do home grow testing so that you can change. I'm sure that there's probably somebody knows some way, some bro science way.
I think you guys kind of know how I roll by this point. Like, I don't even care to measure it. I make it as strong as possible. This might be a nice segue too. What'd you guys think about those wings? I gotta know. I think that was one of the shorter wing clips, but I just kind of gave them to you guys, like, flowed off. But What do you think of them chicken wings there?
I'm not a habanero or a mango fan, but that sauce is fire. Absolutely fire. You kind of embarrassed me. You were like, hey, can I watch you eat on film? And I'm like, wait a minute. No, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
And then right after the cup, it was all over the internet. And I'm like, oh, well, at least I look graceful, trying to eat this wing.
Oh,
But
yeah.
no, absolutely delicious. And I'd buy it once you start bottling it for sure. I'd have to probably eat 20 wings to get hammered off of it. But I mean, we're looking at flavor,
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It was delicious. I took one little fingerful because I was driving home, so I didn't partake in much.
Designated driver, right?
Yeah. So I was careful, but it was very tasty. So when he was like, "Can we get more?" I said, "You could, yeah, go ahead, find it. Tell him to send it right now. I'm good."
I still gotta edit that like full wing video because I just kind of been like dropping it as clips.
Right.
But there was actually two things. Like, so for the one with One-Eyed Cat Cannabis and the clip with Tops, I'm getting age gated off of their shirt because it has pictures of cannabis that the algorithm's picking up like I'm in my grow room.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other thing about it, it's a 31-minute video. I hit like 12, 13 people. It's kind of funny. Like there's still like some people with like bigger names, more recognizable people in the community that I'm like still sitting on the video just because I haven't took the time to edit it. But I've been struggling with it because I'm trying to get it off of my phone and it's like 10 gigabytes of 32 minutes of like high quality video. And then like my phone's running out of memory because I just tapped the 256K. Oh my god! I won't complain too much, guys, but yeah.
So there's a reason why we as creators have to continue to upgrade because we just always run into one roadblock after another. Mine is actually taking the video documentation of my room because I'll just go in there, snap a bunch of pictures, and say, I'll put it back together later. But you always find that you have to upgrade.
Absolutely.
The computer's important when you're rendering video, that's for sure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
And then it's like if you're too close to being like full of memory, like everything else just slows down to where like applications don't even work correctly. That one's my favorite.
I had to offload actually 4 of his grows of photos and videos out on my laptop because it slowed it down. Nothing would work.
Yeah.
So I had to spend, I'm not joking, 26,000 images had to come off of my laptop while he was working. And there I am copy and pasting to the hard drive. Then he says, "Oh, is the laptop ready for me yet?" And I was like, "No, sir, it's not. But if you'd like to keep working on this project after my 12 hours, you go ahead."
Yeah.
So
she put it in 12-hour shift.
Yeah. I'm like the behind the scenes employee. So y'all were right. There is a behind the scenes employee all the time in a relationship. And I'm Cinderella, actually. We have officially nicknamed me Cinderella in our household.
That's awesome.
Oh.
You got a good one there, Chris. You better hold on to her, man. You got a good one right there.
So I was going to Vegas with a buddy and I had a grow going and I was like, "Do you think that you can just water these and take care of them? Will it be all right?" Gave her instructions.
Please no, I begged. Please no, if I kill your plants, you're going to be so mad at me, you're going to dump me. Like, I don't want to kill your plants. You're going to dump me. We can't. But I did.
And I came back to nice, healthy plants. We harvested. It was a really good harvest. It was actually my DGC win, 3rd place, the JR Tokens cut of the Cherry Paloma.
That was 23. That was 23.
In 23.
So she goes, "Oh,
that was when I first met y'all."
Right.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
But she said, "Oh, there's not really much to this and all the bro science." And then she said, "I'm entering next year." And I said, "Okay, cool." And she did. And she took down 7th place. So pretty impressive for a grow that she did on her own. I helped her water a couple times, but she made all the decisions, temperature, everything.
Yeah.
So
there's actually a question that I got. This is like my big question. So both me and you were competing in 23, Chris. That was when we first met each other. But
Right.
I know, like, I can only speak on that one because that was like the first cup that I went to personally. But like, as I turned in my entry, I knew what my number was. Well, I pay attention to everything, but I
Yes.
knew that I knew I was number 23. The thing they said about this year was that it was like a lot more covert, and that's why you were saying that the top 10 was like kind of unknown people. So, you know, Mo took 7th. I forget what number he was, but there was that guy that was like, oh yeah, I got these seeds from the grow store.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this year was a lot more fair, but then at the same time, like there was kind of like some little grumblings in the community.
Right.
Like little keyboard warriors came out. Some of them, oh, how did Canorado Chris's wife get blah blah blah? She doesn't even grow or smoke weed.
And
So
we talked about that.
People
We
still
did.
had
We knew-
opinions.
We knew.
Hey
going
Mo, do
in.
you got anything you want to tell them keyboard warriors while we got you?
Yeah.
Got a
Yeah.
message
Yeah,
you'd like to give out?
We legitimately knew that that was going to be a problem going in, because so many couples, especially one of the years, I can't remember which year it was, but one of the years there was some couples that claim that they grow, but it didn't really seem like that.
Right.
I didn't make a fuss about that. I don't care what you do in your house. However you grow is how you grow, and you won. That's great. Congratulations to the family if they helped you grow.
Yeah.
This year it was actually very interesting since we had no numbers, and I literally told him, I don't want you to. I'm going to ask you questions, but you cannot inform my decision at all. I will look things up, or I will ask, or like I talked to Matt, I talked to Scotty, I talked to everybody, and I with my questions.
He's usually a good person to ask. Yeah.
And so many people would answer my questions, and then I would like think about it for a minute and look at the plant, and then I'd be like, nah, the plant doesn't need it. Like I would literally, he'd give me a 10-minute science lecture on how to do this, and then I'd look at the plant and I'd pull it out, and I was holding it, and I was like, no, I think you're wrong. I'm gonna do this. And he's like, okay, if it dies, it's your own fault. And I'm like, I know, it's okay. So, but yeah, I don't smoke it. I've never grown it before that, other than watering. But that was just instruction. Like these 4 plants get this much water. These 4 plants get this. That was, that was my extent.
So this is what I just want to break it down. In 23, when I took 3rd place, it was a smaller group. I think there were only 48 entries, and people knew what their number was. Yeah. So there were some people out there promoting their jars. They were bud tenders promoting their own jars. I knew what
the Irie Army is a major factor too. If you grow like any, and I'm not trying to knock Rasta Jeff, like that's somebody
but
I know
they are
in real
loyal.
life that I'm cool with. But I will tell you that the Irie Army is fucking deep.
Yeah. So I knew what my number was, and I kind of stayed back and kind of watched people test it and stuff just so that I would know. But I didn't promote it at all. But I saw Matt go back twice. I saw Scotty hit it once. I saw a bunch of people checking my shit out, even JR. I mean, the people with JR was looking at it and stuff. So I was really impressed. But when Mo won 7th place, there was 72 entries, and Rasta Jeff was entered. All these big wigs, big names that know how to grow weed. And she took down 7th, and it was blind test. Nobody knew anything.
Jaron competed.
Right.
Jaron had weed in there.
Her win and my win, actually, to be honest with you guys.
So, I mean, just to show, I asked that question, like I was kind of trying to illustrate a point to where opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. Everybody wants to be tough from their mom's basement, whatever. But look how fair and like, I guess we'll say democratic it actually was this year.
Yep.
Not only did we get, and I really wish I could give this guy a shout out, like, you know what I mean? But I got these seeds at the grocery store.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah, there you go.
You like the grocery store guy.
An autoflower took third this year with Locomotive. I think it was the Designer Drugs autoflower.
Yeah. I've yet to be able to keep one of their seeds alive. I've popped Locomotive a couple different times. I'm not saying anything about them. It's just that in my career up until now, I've had issues popping their beans, but I've got a way down, so we don't have those issues anymore. I just learned a hard lesson about a week and a half ago. I lost 9 seeds to damping off. Fungus overgrew all of it. And I was like, well, I knew better when I put it in that wet cocoa. So
I hoped.
So popped some more beans, bounced right back, and we're doing good. So I'll never change the way that I do it again, you know?
Oh, I know. That's why I'm so dialed in with the living soil now. It's just over with. Like, I don't pH. I don't check my runoff. Dude, I'm like a indoor barefoot hillbilly grower. Like, I just check my leaves and stuff, and it just kind of works.
See, and I like to experiment, so I don't ever do anything the same. Even with my last grow was all I can organics and all I can genetics, and I had 2 of each plant. So I would do something slightly different to each one just to see what happens. Yeah. And he's like, "Why are you doing that?" I don't know. See what happens. It's plant. Let's see what happens. Sure. Let's cut this one and not this one. Let's bend this one and not this one. Then I accidentally broke one. Felt really bad. Fixed her. She came back. She was all right. But yeah, so I play. I don't grow the same way ever. And he's like, we laugh because he's the lazy grower. And I'm in there like talking to my babies, telling them I'm strong and you got this. And he's like, don't talk to those bitches. Just leave them in their bucket. So we have very different styles. For all of you wondering.
I'm glad to see that I'm not the only one that treats my grow like a military operation. I salute you, sir. We have our protocols.
You need to make the final cut.
Right.
There is an SOP, and that's what we stick with.
Any other way is wrong. No.
So I learned really early to. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're all right. Go ahead. You good? Go ahead.
I learned early that you needed to join a community and find like-minded people instead of just looking for random things all over the place. And luckily, I found the DGC really early on. And Scotty is always preaching about, hey, we want to make somebody who grows for the first time continue growing, not have a bad experience and maybe not
what to make you successful
for 10 years. So I got introduced to Recharge and Grow Dots. And then he said, hey, why don't you add a bucket to that? And
who bought the first bucket?
I've got assigned buckets from Scotty Reel.
Really?
Because I wanted to try them out. And I was like, hey, let's do this. And it was the easiest grow I ever did. You know, I spent less time in the tent. People are like, that's not how you grow weed. And I said, that's how I grow weed. You know, I've got a full-time job, I've got a family, and I don't have all of that time to be in the tent. So,
Yes, our buddy.
Shameless
plug. Shout out real growers. Oh yeah.
And they're so
nice.
Wait,
what happened? I'm about to take a dab.
Yeah.
So, as soon
do
as
you guys both?
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, do you guys both use the same nutrients? Because I know Mo uses FOOP.
I love my FOOP, and I used Matt's ICAN last time, and I really liked it. So now I'm not sure. He does because he's got his procedure now. It'll probably be recharge his dots, your grow dots. Yeah. He's the dots.
I use the Grow Dots in the real buckets and recharge once a week.
Yeah.
So it's pretty easy. But we're also sponsored by them, so I've got to kind of show what it is.
Yeah, of course.
I love my FOOP. My FOOP, I am super impressed with just how easy it is and the actual results. I use it outside too, and even like with our tomatoes and our zucchini and all that stuff, like there is a noticeable difference every time I feed the plants, whether it's the cannabis or outside plants. And I love that. I love that I can tell that my plants are healthy and happy every time. And we've used some other stuff before that was a little bit trickier, involved a lot more math, which I'm not good at, especially 6 o'clock at night, because our morning for our plants is at nighttime because it's cheaper to run electricity. So at 6 or 7 o'clock at night, I'm tired. I do not want 17 steps, but I want to talk to my babies.
Yeah.
So I got my 2 steps and my water, and they're happy and lovely. So yeah.
Okay.
And the Foop sweetener, that's one thing that sets them apart from some of the other ones. It's some really rare, not necessarily rare, but it's not sugars that are normally put together.
Yeah, it's
and
a different combination.
I use it with whatever nutrient line I'm using. So when I'm using dots, I'll mix in the sweetener with that week's worth in with my recharge, and I'll pour that in even with my sip buckets.
Wow.
We've used it. I'm about to use it with Matt's organics. I just I seem to see better trichome production with using the sweetener.
Hey, I use it too. I use the Foop line too. I use the sweetener, the veg 1 and 2. I love the mint smell. I like the ready to use spray, the foliar spray they got. It's an awesome line. I love it too. When I'm not using my grow dots and recharge myself, when I'm using bottles, it's Foop. I love them.
And we did have a batch go bad in our basement where, you know, because we don't put it outside or anything. And it went bad, and they took care of it. They went ahead and sent us a replacement, and it was phenomenal because, you know, that's a gallon. That's not cheap. And for it to go, because we're like, is it supposed to be this stinky? I don't think so. And so we talked to Larry, because we've been talking to Larry for a long time. He's kind of our buddy, and he's absolutely fantastic. His whole team is phenomenal. And so we just let him know, hey, this is not great. And they sent a replacement out. And so they're a phenomenal company. Super easy. And hold on, Mark, that zucchini that I gave Matt was actually on the smaller end. We just cut up and shredded 13.5 cups out of 4 zucchini this last weekend. Wow. Yeah. So Foop in the garden, y'all, is phenomenal.
It's Mo approved.
It's Mo approved. Yeah.
Approved.
Have you guys
The one thing about their foliar spray though is your plants get lazy if you use it too much. Yeah. I had them just leaning over in the bucket, just like, oh, I got everything I need. I don't care. And I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be using it every day. So I cut back, and then they sprung right back. But I probably lost a week of vigorous growth because they got lazy. So just be careful when you're foliar spraying. You can give it too much and it gets lazy.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever try to mix a little bit of compost in there?
Not so far. No, not so far.
You guys are more cocoa though, right?
Cocoa, worm castings, and
insect
frass, and that's about it. We found that if we just organic life with the recharge, we don't get as many bugs, you know, the fungus gnats and stuff like that. She hates bugs, and our last grow right towards the end of flower, little fungus gnat infestation, and she flipped out.
So mad.
We try to keep the bugs down.
Yeah. It's whatever you have the best success with, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I prefer can of cocoa. I mean, I know it's inert when it comes out of the package. Yeah. Canna's always been good to me. Those are folks that you can, hey man, I'm having a problem with this cocoa or whatever, and they'll reach out to you and help take care of you. Yeah, every time I've seen them at trade shows, the guys are
so fun.
They're super cool.
Yeah, they're really fun.
So I made the mistake and went on to Amazon and got a brick of just some regular cocoa, and I had failure after failure. And someone said, "Hey, it's your cocoa. It's got to be." And I went to Can of Cocoa and started getting some bricks, and it's worked out since. So if it's not broke, don't fix it, I guess. But
yeah, most definitely.
We just got the crop culture box, the living soil crop culture box. So I'm gonna have to get my hands wet, my feet wet with the living soil.
Yeah,
you got to. I'm loving all those collabs, man. I'm loving what y'all are doing.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's pretty exciting. You know, are you a part of the Seed to Harvest podcast, Mo? Are you behind the scenes? Are you doing things, inner workings, like you were saying earlier?
Yeah, I'm sort of I guess you could nickname me Elle's business assistant. Elle does a lot of the reaching out and stuff, but I do too for a lot of the companies on this end in Colorado that we've forged personal relationships with. So like we know Taylor at Rimrock Analytical, who does our gender testing. Super great guys. We've seen them a couple times. I had an issue. He met with me. It was fantastic, you know, and Scotty and all those guys. So I will do the back end of that. I will run all the errands. I do all of the shopping, all of the mailing that goes for anything he does. He says, "Oh, you're going to do that tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I am." So
Add it to the list.
That's pretty much the setup me and my wife got. I always kind of make the joke. She's the administrative branch. I'm kind of more the judicial, you know what I'm saying?
And I'm the financier. So every once in a while, I will get super cranky and I'll be like, "No, you're not buying another fan. You're not buying another filter. You're not buying more you're not buying more seeds. You say the word seed to me and I will punch you in the throat." But then we get over it.
Well,
and
babe, these are about to drop.
Literally, he says, "Matt just dropped another pack of seeds we have to buy." That's what this man said to me.
No, I think the last one I tried to talk her into was the AC Infinity air conditioner. Yes. I was like, "It just dropped. It's got to be good. AC Infinity, bring it on." And she said, "Not for $700."
Wait till the price comes down a little bit.
Yeah, I don't love anybody enough for $700 right now. Absolutely not. Maybe eventually.
Well, you know, and then it's kind of like when PlayStations or like anything first comes out, like the first line of them that they rushed out, like all of them fucking break. So some stuff you got to kind of give it like 6 months to a year, let the price drop, let some of the kinks get worked out of it. Yeah. So I got to ask this question. It was really crazy. Speaking of ICANN, Matt, I was actually watching a show recently and I couldn't believe it. My buddy Chris gave me a huge shout out on there. So you've been growing the autoflowers a little bit more, Chris?
Yeah, I've been using the real buckets and the autoflowers, and I've had some success. But last time I was on Matt's show and we were talking about it, and we said don't train autoflowers. So I didn't train the autoflowers, and they grew right into the light. And I had a nice eagle clawy, airy product at the end. So
it looked like a thistle.
Yeah.
Yes.
It looked nice and huge as a flower, but the minute that it dried up, I mean, it was just kind of like a thistleweed.
Yeah,
it sucked.
Bad.
You know, one thing about growing with his buckets is you lose that 5-gallon height, you know, so you're that much closer to the light. Unfortunately,
I've grown in the real buckets before.
I've got a 4x4 that it's 4 foot by 4 foot by 7 foot tall, and all the way at the top, cranking that light all the way to the top.
We actually, we were like trying to get, you know, as high as possible. And I'm like putting my hands up there, checking for heat. Are we going to burn our house down because your plants are too tall? So, you know, that's possible. But
it's like I don't use the light hangers on my light. I actually I'm in a 5x5 now, but for just about everything I did, I was in a 4x4. But I don't use the light hangers. Like I just go from the light itself. Yeah. And then it's about like from the top of my tent, it's about a carabiner clip because then I got the carabiner clip zip tied to the roof. So I'm sitting maybe 3 inches below canopy with my light. And then I got the drivers outside of the tent.
Oh, what brand are you using?
I mean, AC Infinity. I got the Evo 8. I don't know, like everybody says they have the best customer service, but sure, go ahead, pay somebody $2,900 and wait for 17 days before your stuff shows up, like 2 weeks before you even get tracking. And it's kind of like, are they really as good as everybody says?
Yeah, I've got an HLG 350 in the 4x4.
And then with the AC Infinity, with like content creators, people like you see people that got them, but they pretty much won't touch you unless you have like less than like 10,000 followers. So I do got their equipment, but the way that I kind of look at it, it's like Comcast internet. Like Comcast has got the best internet, but you got to call somebody on the phone. You're getting somebody in like New Delhi somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, and you're going to be mad about it.
Yeah.
I'm being hold for a minute.
Right, but then once the internet comes back on, it pretty
Then
much is the best internet. Yeah,
Yes, it's amazing.
So I don't know about
It's
you
my
guys,
thought
but
process.
when you started out, did you guys just try to piece a grow together, or did you do some research and stuff before you bought things? Because me personally, I went out and I got cheap Amazon lights. I got a little fan and a little humidifier. I didn't know what I was doing. I just went and grabbed stuff, slapped something together, and then I learned my lesson the hard way. Started looking online, and people were like, you're never going to get what you're seeing on TV with one of those Amazon grow lights. You need to get a reputable brand. Right. And I got turned on to AC Infinity and HLG, and I was pretty impressed with their products. I wasn't a content creator at the time. I was just trying to grow some weed like what I see all of you guys grow is what I was after. And so I got an HLG 350, and I had a really decent grow. And I was like,
HLG is a good light.
Yeah, so then we got the HLG. Yeah. So I won the 2x4 complete setup, and I love AC Infinity, but I swapped out that 200-watt light, and there's a 350 sitting in a 2x4. I can't crank it up past 5, but it's an HLG.
It's there,
but it does great.
Yeah. So I actually did the same thing, but I got the Mars Hydro 4x4 complete kit. Even though I had done research for like 2-3 months before I made like the financial commitment, right. I still got impulsive at the end and did that without really looking at the specs on the light. And they give like I think it's a 200-watt light for a 4x4. So like even before the end of like my first harvest, I kind of figured that one out. So I had the Mars Hydro light, and then I had this like $60, $80 fucking Blurple light. And that Blurple light with the fans on it was the loudest thing in my tent. So I think it was maybe, I don't know. It was like that for about 6 months before I got the FCE 6500 just to replace both of those because I didn't want to hear that Blurple fan.
No, they are terrible.
It was driving me nuts.
Yeah.
And
I love it.
It sounds like a helicopter taking off.
Right. And the control with these controllers now, before, you had to have a humidistat hooked up to this outlet. You had to have this hooked up over there. Now I open my phone when we're on vacation in Puerto Rico, and I change the settings in my grow tent.
And check the camera. And look at the picture and check the camera. Talk to the babies because it has a mic on it. So I can talk to them even though he refuses, But it's all good.
Do you got lung room control from the phone too, so you can make adjustments on the go as well?
Yeah, in my tents, the
tent.
AC Infinity controllers rock that. The Wi-Fi 69.
Right. Oh yeah. No, I got that, but then I have a dedicated air conditioner for my grow room, and that's smart too. So let's say I can go off of the data from the controller 69, and then I just have like further control, so I can be.
So remember how we were talking about trying to get the AC Infinity air conditioner? Well, before that, it was the mini split. All right. So, I want to do it right. We're in a basement. So, I could board up the window, bring the lines through the window and to the mini split, but she's not willing to rock that price tag yet.
Okay. But to be fair, so people listen.
It's a must.
To me.
They need to cool down. He wants to bring the colors out.
If they drop down to $500, can you get one? They drop down to $500.
If somebody pays half,
we try.
Who can he be a partner with? But true,
not AC Infinity if you have less than 10,000 followers.
We're too little for them. We're just the little people.
We're just the peons of the grow community.
I'm okay being the little people. But it's funny because one of the things that I would say,
like the farmers over here.
Yes, and we piecemealed all of this for a really, really, really long time. But when I decided to do my grow, and I got to use his entire setup that was already done, and we didn't have to like figure it out. If you can afford that, by all means, do that first, because when we actually do the math, we probably spent about double what we should have to get it started.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah. So I would say if don't be us. Learn from us, people. Learn from us.
And when you're on Amazon, watch out for those claims from the China light manufacturers when it's like, it's like this amount of light. No, look for true wattage. Look what's getting pulled from the wall. That's a huge tip for new growers, especially somebody that's trying to go like the cheap route, which we were just talking about buying twice.
Yeah.
Well,
buy once, cry once.
Check the community. Check, because we have stuff we don't want anymore that if somebody said, I will give you $20 for it, so I don't have to figure it out how to get rid of it, by all means, buy it for $20 and I'll meet you.
That's a good idea.
Out there who need random stuff. Canorado Chris may have something that I can get out of my basement.
I like this girl.
Then he can spend.
That's great. But I'm still rocking the original 5-year-old Facebook Marketplace tent.
Yeah.
No, it was
I was just about to say Facebook Marketplace.
I thought we were going to get murdered picking it up.
It was
like
the
legit
scary part of Denver, man. And I was like, how am I going to know you? And I'm like, why are you selling these? And he goes, a bunch fell off a truck. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we're going to die.
Oh, so it wasn't used? It was brand new?
No, it was
brand new in the box, dude.
Oh,
it still smelled like China.
I was about to ask. I was like, did that thing
had
have
my
fucking
foot on the
free
gas
spider
pedal.
mice?
Yes, I had my foot on the gas pedal, waiting for him to chuck it in the trunk and me to drive away really quickly before we got killed. So, yeah, it's still in there doing its job.
Still going strong.
He's got $20.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Hit him up after the show.
Yeah.
You guys know where to find me, that's for sure.
Slide in them DMs real quick.
Meet in a poor lit parking lot.
Yeah. In the middle of the night when it's like misty and foggy.
There you go.
Let's set the scene.
So let's ask you a question. What do you guys think of doing the podcast and stuff? How is it for you guys?
I love it. We love it. We talk. We bounce ideas off each other. We're always on the phone with each other. It's like constant. It never stops. So I'm sure it's the same for y'all. And sometimes it's figuring things out and technology and dealing with YouTube or whatever the case may be, but I love it. I can't speak for these two, but
well, with this podcast that we got, it kind of was like, I don't know, the perfect storm, I guess you would say. But it was like everything just kind of fell into place because I've been doing this now for like 3-4 years with like the online thing. But it's kind of been like from this last cup, 2024, from me dropping those wing clip videos is when I kind of started like trending a little bit more. And I was kind of like looking for something because it's like, okay, I've done like some decent views. I'm going on some of these bigger shows. I'm doing Grambo. I'm doing Dude Grows over here, over there. It was like, I should try to capitalize on this. So it kind of like doesn't just like fizzle out on me. And then Anthony, he was coming off of another show for, whatever they had going on. And Alicia's just kind of like somebody that we talk to because she's involved with like the homegrown and the community thing. So like we actually kind of dragged her with us. We're like, no, Alicia, come in. Like,
one day,
you're the new co-host, Alicia. It's okay.
One day I get a text message and it's Cortez like, hey, me and Anthony want to, like, let's talk tomorrow, Saturday, blah, blah, sometime. I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, because I make reels and shit, I'm like, oh, they're going to ask me to like do some reels because I knew they were coming out with this show. And then they asked me, I'm like, me?
It actually just kind of came out of the conversation because I knew you were good with the videos, and for like the Spaceman episode we did, I was trying to figure out how to like cut that video where it's kind of like Spaceman showing the controls in the light room, but not have it interrupt the audio of the podcast. So we were like brainstorming, but it was just kind of like in the middle of like our little brainstorm session. It's like, Alicia, like, come on, like now you got to come on the show.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do though. I was like, I've never done that before.
Yeah,
But yeah,
not
we
bad.
figured it out.
if it weren't
Big
for
shout
Elle,
out
it
though
would be
to Kenna
pretty
Alicia. She takes charge
Yeah.
with like a lot of our scheduling and stuff, and she's been
Yep.
doing such an amazing job at that.
Yeah.
Aw, that's awesome.
Yeah, see, we
Good
made
job.
it. So she's doing her job, right?
Keeping us
Yeah.
jabronies in line.
Right,
Well,
right.
I also have Mrs. Cortez to help me.
Yeah, my wife helps her, so they're kind of like,
Good.
you know.
She
You gotta
keeps
have
us
a backup.
focused.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotta
Yes.
have the when him and Matt are doing Matt's show, sometimes I'm usually in the background because again, I drive him because I know they're gonna smoke a lot. So you know, safety first. So I'll drive, and most of the time I'm behind the camera, just watching them. And sometimes I'm like, "What are you guys talking about?" I'm like, "Circle back, circle back. Y'all are losing it now. Go back."
We don't want to hear you drone on, guys.
Or their bro science. I'm like, "Your bro science is boring. Switch it up."
Oh yeah.
I'm not
That's
an
why
audience.
that's why we need the female perspective at times. Sometimes
Yeah.
we need a woman give us a kick in the ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
Well,
she does.
Like one of the fun things really is, especially for us growing, is we are such different people. Like it's actually kind of surprising that we even met at all because we truly are very, very different people, but we accept everything about each other. So like when he's like, I'm going to go spend 3 hours downstairs with my pop buddies, I'm like, okay, love you. Like, I'll let you know when dinner's ready. You know,
exactly.
when I want to do my things, whatever that is, depending on the day, he just has to accept it or I'll cry. And that's okay too. You know? So
I'll try.
It's a large commitment to be able to tell your fans and stuff, hey, we're going to be here every week.
Yeah.
We just celebrated 6 months on the air yesterday, and we haven't missed anything other than business.
when we were DGC and we couldn't get the stupid internet thing to work right to go online.
There was no internet there. There was no internet there. We were like in the middle of fucking mountains on a family farm.
Except untrained astronaut summoned a satellite above his head, and he got live, but everybody else. No.
Well, with that fucking guy though, all bets are off. He probably has some fucking satellite communication thing in a fucking
and he like calls up NORAD and is like,
while he's fucking starting up the leaf blower to just get out of the fucking crowd.
That was fun.
There's
big shout out.
Go to DGC.
Big shout out Untrained Astronaut.
Yeah, so fun.
Oh, it's adult summer camp. It is.
Yes.
Well, I'll meet y'all next DGC for real cup because I'm going. Last year I didn't go. Yeah, I'm gonna enter too. Why not? I'm going all the way out there. I might as well.
June 1st. It's at a private farm. Beautiful location.
June 7th.
June 7th this year?
June 7th. It was June 1st this year. Next year, it's going to be June.
Week.
It's the first Saturday of June. It's the first Saturday of June, which is June 7th.
This time. Okay. Yeah. And they're so fantastic. The family that runs that place is absolutely phenomenal.
Awesome.
Since our first year, like people have had suggestions for them and they just are like, oh, that's a good idea. Oh, we can do that. Oh, this is awesome. Like, they are just the best people. And then, of course, we love everybody at DGC, and they're just so kind and so sweet to me because I literally know nothing about any of it. And
it's actually kind of funny with that husband and wife that own the farm. That's within like the first 60 seconds of like the full wing video. But we had a little bit of a thing because we just wanted to go pass out the wings, but we still had to run to the house and run back. We had an Airbnb that was like a mile or two away, whatever it was. But they were giving us a hard time about parking. I'm like, no, it's me, it's Cortez, it's okay. And they're like, He's like, bro, no, I don't even care. I know it's you, but my wife, I don't want to hear about it. So I'm like, okay, bro. Like, for your wife, I'll do what you're telling me. But then I kind of like, I don't know. I kind of like schmoozed her up a little bit as we were walking back. And I gave her one of the Cortez juices. But that's where like the video turns on. Like the guy was saying something and it was like about like the parking thing we just went through. But then I was like, oh, hey, by the way, I just gave your wife one of the Cortez juices. He's like, okay, that's amazing. Okay. And then I just walked in, just me being a smartass. I'll be like, yeah, you'll thank me later.
Yeah.
And dude goes, what did he say? He was like, the action's already pretty good, but thanks anyways. Also, like old hippie people, they're so cool though. They got like chickens and like little goats and stuff roaming around. They get some free range chickens.
Oh yeah, and they're just so nice, and they really try to balance like what we want as like the group having fun with their neighbors. Like they're super respectful of their neighbors, which I think is why nobody complains too much about it. You know, everybody who goes is respectful of the neighbors in the neighborhood.
Clean up after themselves. Like you would never believe it was the end of an event and like so there's tidy. No cups, no napkins, little whatever on the ground. Like people actually clean up after themselves.
That's why you're allowed back.
I don't know, like for me in particular, like for me to get that kind of time away from work, like I basically plan my year around going, and that's like my week of vacation. But then my birthday is June 23rd, so like that's kind of like my birthday, my adult summer vacation, my adult summer camp. Because that'll be the full week that I get off work.
So normally, you know, we wake up Sunday and then drive back because it's only an hour and a half from my house. But I'll take Friday off from work and we'll stay Friday, Saturday, and come back. Well, this year we get
Yeah, it's a nice weekend, and we had so much fun the first year. And I was so tired driving back, and I was like, I kept wanting to leave because I was getting tired because we had the long drive. So this way we stay at a hotel 15 minutes away. He can stay and have all the fun with his friends, you know, because I only got to take him back 15 minutes and get him into an elevator. You know, like he wobbles in and we're good. It's fine. So
I drove 17 and a half hours straight there.
Yeah. He full on plans like it's like our vacation. It's like our only vacation each year right now. Yeah.
And we don't get to see each other in person. It's lucky that a group is able to get a site together where we could do this, and just amazing
and see
people.
You guys.
Yeah.
And you coming now. Yeah.
It'd be nice to see you guys in person.
Can you come?
Maybe. I would have to fly because I'm in New York, so it's like a 4-day drive.
I'm in Virginia, and I'm gonna drive. I'm gonna mail my shit. I'll mail my shit over there. I'll say, hey, Chris, here, I'm mailing something. I'm mailing my entry. Throw this road back for me.
Yeah. But it'd be nice too. I'm entertaining the idea.
I remember talking to DGC from Hawaii. DGC, like, I think every state represented. I know JFK Cultivators will come out there. That dude lives in fucking Alaska. Like, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure like people come from like other countries too.
There was a few. This year wasn't. I think our first year there was a few more international folks. I think was
you guys first year 23?
22.
22. And we didn't enter. Okay. We just went. And Scott at Gingerbread Genetics actually took us under his wing because we walked up all scared and wide-eyed, you know, like you do when you don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
And he saw the terror on my face and said, it's okay. We're all friendly here. And I was like, oh my God, okay. And then
you got Tanazi handing out half grams of mushrooms, so everybody's kind of like half
and
tripping.
people are like, do you want a brownie? And I'm like, where am I? This is weird. They're so nice. And they're so like, I kept telling him
this year you got guys like me running around passing out chicken wings and shit.
Being nice. And I was like, and I even left my purse on a tabletop and didn't think anyone was gonna steal my wallet. I love your pop people. Yeah. So, you know, everyone's so great.
That's awesome.
Exactly. That's so cool.
Yeah, I love them. Everybody was so nice. So Scott is in the crop culture box, gingerbread genetics. We're going to grow his, what is it? London berries crossed with something. I always forget.
It's the London pound cake.
I mess it up every time.
Berries and cherries. London cherries.
Okay.
See, I never remember. He has to remember.
So the basis of our show is we pick a breeder together, the three of us, and we feature them in a box or however we feature them, and the community grows with us. So we'll all pop seeds on the same day, kind of keeping like a video log of it. We bring people on our weekly show so that they can show their tent. Something new this season is we're starting a Facebook group page so that people that aren't comfortable, you know, filming them, they can take pictures and stuff and either be anonymous or just be in the group. And one of the cool things about it, and when you feature a breeder and people are growing multiple plants of the same genetics, they actually get a free pheno hunt. You know, they get to see what their plants will do, and they don't have to grow them out themselves, and it's documented. So Chris,
not only phenotype, you're seeing all the different genotypes because people live in different environments. You're seeing that plant in different mediums, different substrates. You're seeing the plant with different inputs. Some people are organic, some people are salt, some people put stuff you shouldn't put in your plant.
Right.
Yeah.
Some people transplant autos when you're not supposed to. So
some people trim autos and trim everything you're not supposed to trim. I do that too, by the way. I trim when I'm not supposed to too, and it gives him a conniption. Y'all really gotta support him. You gotta support him on Seed to Harvest podcast because he gets nothing from me. So he relies on all of you. Help him out.
It's a great group of people, though.
Hey, look, I love
Chris,
it over there.
when I got a little bit of space that opens up, I should do one of those with you, man. I should jump in on one of those.
Hit me up, dude. I'll send you this season's pack.
Well, I might. We might be looking at about January. But
I'll set one off to the side, or maybe next season you can grow.
What's the next season?
We're gonna grow this one out, and then normally we try to figure it out time wise. We do a 4-week veg and depending on what it is, an 8 to 10 week flower. We'll dry and talk about it as we wrap up, and then we'll announce the next season. Crimson grows from Dead by Dawn Genetics. Also, you get a bonus pack in our box of the Holy Moly Donut Shop. And it's a project he's been working on for a long time. Yeah. It's well tested. He doesn't send anything out that he's not unsure of. So that's the bonus pack in this box. And we like to give back to other people in the community that are content creators. So Chris showed us some love. We talked to Crimson, showed him some love. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's such a great concept, too. It's fun.
Yeah.
And we lucked out, and you type in Seed to Harvest, which everybody does when they're looking at growing cannabis, and we're the first thing that pops up. So Grambo said, I don't know if you guys did that on purpose, but you guys beat the algorithm for cannabis. That's for sure. So, we're trying to gain footage. We're a little under 600 subscribers. We've been doing it for 6 months. Talk to people, and that's not bad. So
you guys definitely got to subscribe for me. I'm one of those 600.
Yeah,
I got my bell turned on.
Me too.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely.
We appreciate all the support, and everybody that's tuned into you guys. We appreciate all of them too, and let us know what we can do to help support you guys for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Is there any shout outs you want to give out, or I know you pretty much gave some out just now, but is there any more you'd like to give
Tell me
out?
so we can find you and
Yeah.
Maybe any big plans you got for the not too far future that you want to start building a little bit of hype about?
Sell our box. Go buy our box so I can get my money back. I'm just kidding.
There you
Promise,
go.
I'm not like that. I promise. All of you who just took me seriously, don't. I'm taking a break currently while they are selling the box to get started. And then I haven't quite decided. I think I want to do kind of another experiment with this grow. I'm kind of debating if I'm going to do a dots grow, because I actually have never grown with the dots. I've only done.
Well, then you gotta try them.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm
you need to.
debating, but I love my ICANN organics and I love my FOOP, but I might get, and I love Scotty. Scotty has been so kind, and everybody on his team is so kind. And Banner, who told me I was going to place and I didn't believe him, all those people. So I'm thinking about
with
that.
grow dots, you can still add your little extras if you want.
I know
to.
I could cheat a little.
If you want to do
Let's make it fun.
silica, if you want to.
But I do take longer
What's
breaks.
Mama Kush say? Shout out Mama Kush. You gotta zhuzh it up a little bit.
Zhuzh it up. Yeah, there you go.
So you guys can find Mo at Mo's Grows Stuff on Instagram, and you can find us on YouTube at Seed to Harvest Podcast and
POT cast.
And Canorado _ Chris on Instagram. And then just shout out to my co-hosts Rue and Elle. Those guys are awesome. I couldn't do it without them. And
Rue's coming out next week.
Yeah.
We're running Seed to Harvest podcast back to back.
Back to back.
Good job. Good job.
I'll put you in touch with Elle too. So
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I want to say, I do want
to have
tell
him
you,
on the show.
I
He
do
actually
want to
just
say
made
all
my
of you,
new logo recently. Big shout out.
Elle made your new logo?
Yeah,
he did.
He's so
it's
creative with his things. I don't know how
it's
he does
really
that.
dope. So that's why I just wanted to give him.
Yeah, he's awesome.
There it is.
Ooh.
Boom.
That's
Working
slick.
QR code. Working QR code, people. Mylar's coming soon. Mylars are coming soon.
nice.
That's awesome. But I want to tell you guys, thank you for inviting me. I definitely am not as comfortable on camera.
Right.
It's a rarity for me to be on camera. So I greatly appreciate your invitation for me to be on and not just the beautiful face. So,
no, I mean, we know you. Like, I've met you before, Mo. Come on. You've eaten some of my food, your family.
Look, I was shocked. I was shocked when I seen you placed in the DGC Cup that I've been dying to get out there to and just compete and just chop it up with everybody. You placed and you don't even smoke. Like, where do you find your passion? Like, I'm so intrigued by that. That is awesome.
It was keeping his plants alive and the stress of that for those 5 days or 4 days, whatever it was in Vegas. But then afterwards, I was like, okay, no, I can water them again for you. Like, I like looking at the color changes. I like watching the trichomes get spread over everything, like all the way down my leaves and stems. I like all of it. So, I just grow stuff.
She's like an artist with a brush.
Right.
That's awesome.
But
I love that.
she always mistakes real science for bro science. So sometimes it's a problem.
Okay. Occasionally it's a problem, but not that often. Only everyone.
Trial and error, you'll see what works. Just don't try too many things at the same time. Otherwise, you won't know what went wrong.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
Definitely.
That's awesome.
Thank you both for coming on. I had fun.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's great to
there's
talk to you guys.
Still more
Big
questions.
shout out, husband and wife grow team.
Sorry, we talk a lot. Next time you can just shoot questions.
I know.
No, you're good. No, I liked it.
I think it's way better this way. Just informal, kind of like a tuxedo T-shirt. You know what I'm talking about?
You can pull that off, Cortez. Not everybody can pull that off, dude.
But you can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
With the little bow
Says
tie and the fake ruffles.
Says, I'm business, but I like to party too.
Right. Business in the front, party in the rear.
I was
Is
just
that-
gonna
There you
say,
go.
you feel like a
There you
mullet.
go. There you go.
Oh, these dabs got me.
Yeah, clearly. Me too.
Oh, this is awesome.
Thank y'all.
Yeah,
Definitely.
thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having us on.
All right, y'all. Take
We
it
got to
easy.
get you guys back again, by the way.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, just let me
Definitely.
know.
She
Definitely.
handles the
Will do.
She handles the calendar.
Alicia's like, I know.
We'll reach out to your
Alicia,
people.
you'll hear from Alicia and my wife. So
There you go.
that
We know
way
how this goes.
I can't forget anything because Alicia reminds my wife, and then my wife just comes up and slaps me with like a sandal or something.
Yep.
Yes. Yes. I hold up little signs. Like I'll come in the room if it's too boring or something. I'll hold up little signs and I'll be like, do something.
That's-
Or I'll be like, the camera view is really boring. Change it. Change it.
There you go.
Smart.
Or I'll
You
tell
don't
him,
need
you're
it.
forgetting the comments. Talk to the people in the comments.
Engage the
Okay.
chat. Engage
Yeah.
the chat.
Because I'm upstairs, like occasionally, like checking in. I'm like, oh, good, they're all still having fun, whatevs. But then sometimes I'm watching, and sometimes I'll be like, nope, you're doing that wrong. Nope, you're doing that wrong. But it's because we have so much fun talking that, like you said earlier, it's super tricky to have a good time talking and remember that you're supposed to be touching buttons and other stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Definitely.
not good at technology, so
What days and times is the Seed to Harvest podcast before you guys go?
It's every Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Central Time.
Okay.
All
And
right.
Right
we are
Central
germinating
Time?
this season September 14th. So you guys can all tune into that. And we're trying to we're putting together a pretty big 420 for next year. So that's something that we're working on the hush right now, but trying to get a bunch of people involved. So we'll let you guys know.
That'll be fun.
Shout out to the whole Midwest grow community. Midwest strong, baby.
All right.
We're the backbone of the nation right here, Chris. Come on.
Shout out. East Coast. East
I love
Coast.
Powerhouse of
Midwest.
agriculture. Where do you guys think all the corn comes from? Come on now.
Right.
You think that doesn't translate to other industries? We got cows and we got cows and we got corn. Come on.
oh no. I miss the Midwest.
All right, Chris and Mo. Well, thank y'all for coming on.
Thanks
Thanks
you.
for having us.
Stay lifted, my friends.
All right.
Always.
All right, folks. Well,
So yeah, tune in
episode
next
2.
in the books. Next week we have
It's
Bruce
a
Goofy
wrap.
Growing. Same place, same time. Come have a sesh with us next Sunday, 4 p.m. in Brew.
Sounds good.
Thanks for
See y'all
taking us
then.
out, Alicia.
A track.
Next time.
Peace.